Hi, I'm Laurie Caruso.
Hi, I'm Phil Bean.
And this is the winter edition of
Laurie
and Bean. Thanks for joining us. We are so excited to be here in the studio today with Mike Oliveira from Donut Love. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent, thank you. So tell me, I know everybody raves about your donuts and you're local here. Tell me about how you got started with the donut industry.
Yeah, it all got started in my kitchen at home. My son was born about 30 days after my mom passed away. My mom had been battling cancer for about 4 years, and my mom had always talked about opening a family-owned bakery my whole life, and so I decided to pursue this while I was on paternity leave with my son. And I just started messing around, making two at a time at home. And where we live across the street from a local farm stand. And I had all these donuts that I had nowhere to go with them. And I decided to see if Matt would sell them for us. And he did.
Wow, that's really cool. So now your past profession, what were you doing in the past profession?
I was a police officer, and I know you can't make that up. But
like from police officer to donut maker, I love it.
So I did that for about 16 years.
Wow, very cool. So now I also understand your family has a big deal to do with this. I mean, I saw your wife on a picture on the website. It's really cool to be able to see how the family's working in all of this.
And that's what my mom always wanted. So my wife, from the get-go, even in the home, had our son Cash strapped to her and was making a lot of the glazes and things like that at home. And then when we transitioned to the shop, she worked the front a lot. My aunt still to this day works for us up front, which is pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Michael, congratulations on your success. I was in your shop. The donut, I started out with the plain donut. It was fabulous.
Thank you.
I spoke with Anne Marie. I love the pictures of your family on the wall and that whole family orientation. What have been your biggest challenges in doing this startup and transitioning from the public sector and a very important one as a police officer to this?
I literally had no idea what I was doing. None. I didn't know how to order product. I had no idea. So I was very fortunate that I had friends and family that were willing and able to help us get started and learn that I didn't need to buy everything at the local grocery store and that there was actually food service places that would provide food for us and things like that.
And in terms of your expectations for your business development, what lies in the future for your business?
Well, first off, the fact that we've won numerous awards, including Best in New Hampshire and Seacoast Taste and all of these things, I still pinch myself thinking that this is really not real, that I can't believe I never made a donut and now we're winning all these awards. But the expectations have been completely blown out of the water of what I thought this was ever going to be. And in terms of growth, it's still there. We're still growing. We're in the process right now of opening a retail shop in Exeter.
Wonderful, congratulations. And one more along those lines is, in your shop, there's a potato base. Can you explain the process? Because it's a uniquely and distinctive different experience.
Everyone thinks that we use potato flour. It's actually mashed potatoes that are in our donuts. So it's quite a process to make them. It's not your typical donut. We don't have yeast in them, so it doesn't leave like that lead belly feel in your stomach. But yes, they're all made with mashed potatoes.
So what is your favorite donut? I mean, I'm sure you have so many different varieties.
My go-to is always the classic cinnamon sugar.
I can imagine. What other varieties do you have? I mean, I'm starving as it is. I need more
We do
info.
Some pretty wild ones. We do maple bacon. We recently just did a replica of a Samoa donut, so the Girl Scout cookie. That's a big hit. Honey dipped, things like that. We just made that today with real honey. So everything we use in our donuts we try and do New England based. So everything's locally sourced for the most part as well. So we try and pull anything that we can locally.
Wow, very cool. Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after these community notes. Welcome back. We are here with Mike Oliveira from Donut Love. So happy you're here. We're talking all about donuts, and I cannot wait to try a donut in a little bit. So tell me, when I first started my professional career, 14 years old, I was working in a bakery, and I remember having to get up so early to start the whole process.
Yes.
What time do you get up for this?
I start at 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
So how do you function given the fact you have little ones at home, you've got the wife duty, you've got everything else that happens in your life?
Yeah, so I always tell everybody my real job starts when I leave and I go home and start taking care of those guys. So my day is usually 2 a.m. until sometimes close, which is 2 p.m. But most days I try and get out of there midday.
Wow. So also, I know that this product for the donut itself, it's a special donut. I mean,
Yes.
it's not just like the normal donuts that we see out there today. I'm curious, where did you get your innovation to use potatoes for your donuts?
So the story goes, my wife and I are very rustic to New Hampshire. We got married locally in New England, up in Vermont. And so we wanted it to be a New England flavor. So I started researching New England recipes from old day stuff, and I found this really cool recipe from the early 1900s.
Really?
And tweaked it and tweaked it and tweaked it. And God bless my wife, who just had me make dough and throw it away, and had me make dough and throw it away. For 19 weeks I did that.
Wow. It's what you have to do to get to perfection, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so, yes.
Now, your varieties of donuts, I mean, they're unique. How do you come up with the ideas to have these varieties?
So we originally just started with the classics, you know, the cinnamon sugars, the old fashioned, and then just kind of continue to grow. I love to eat, so I just said, well, what would I like in the beginning, for sure. So it's just evolved. Every single week we try and make something new.
Very exciting. Well, I cannot wait at the next break to try this donut.
Thank you.
Michael, that transition from government work to the private sector, and not being an employee, but being a business owner. How is the community and your vendors and your finance and your fellow business owners assisted you in that transition?
It's been amazing. Honestly, I think the community in itself completely wanted me to succeed from day one, and I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and support from those guys. So that's been outstanding. From day one, I never felt that we weren't something. The community made us feel special every single day.
And Donut Love is now into its third year, and share a little bit about your family's lineage, your ancestry, and the Portugal aspect.
Yeah. So my grandfather came from the Azores, and after being here for quite some time, got into being a chef, became an executive chef over at the Pondview in Kingston for many, many years. And that was really cool to watch both my grandfather and my grandmother cook. Ethnic food was a big part of my upbringing, for sure.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's great. I know that this has been a huge inspiration, having your mom involved with this through the process. And, you know, I know that that's a big thing for you.
Yes.
You know, curious how you work with that. I know that, you know, you probably wake up in the morning and have to get up at 2 a.m., but you're like, something continues to drive you.
Well, it's that passion, you know, about my mom's legacy. Even on my toughest days when I'm there at 2:30 in the morning and I'm tired and I don't want to be there, and I can look over on the wall that you got to see and see myself and my mom dancing from my wedding, and that is the stuff that pushes me through those hard days, or the days where I'm saying, what am I doing? Why am I still doing this? That's been a huge inspiration in my life.
Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate you taking some time out here.
You got
Good
it.
luck. We wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you soon. I'm coming in for those donuts.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We have another special guest here in the studio, Tom Moulton from SleepNet. How are you?
Good, Laurie. How are you today?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
So really excited to have a conversation with you, being that you're a successful business in this area. Tell me about SleepNet and what you do.
Well, SleepNet is a company. We employ around 30 people in the area. We make sleep apnea masks. We have a little over a dozen patents, and we make products that help people's lives, enhance their lives, and help them, assist them with their health. Because sleep apnea, if you don't know what it is, people stop breathing in the middle of the night, and this acts as a device that can open up the airways to help people breathe while they're sleeping.
And I know sleep apnea, I've heard that mentioned numerous times, being that, it's something that's definitely an issue with adults in this community or anywhere. So tell me about your product and how that actually helps support sleep apnea.
So we do something a little different. There are probably 3 other large companies, billion-dollar companies, that make sleep apnea products. And we're one of the smaller companies that are on, I call it the island, that can compete in the business. A lot of these big companies have patent lawyers, and they kind of build a moat around the industry. And they use a material called an LSR, called liquid silicone rubber. But we use a gel product, softer than human fat tissue. And it creates a really good seal around your face, doesn't mark your face and cause necrosis, and is very comfortable. It's flexible as well, and it's a different way of doing things than the other big guys. Problem is we're small, we don't have the budgets they have, so it's tough to compete, but we have a really good product.
That's great. Now I can imagine, these people that have the sleep apnea have to wear this device every single evening, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure that you need to be able to have something that fits on your face comfortably, but also that doesn't obviously mark up your face in any way. So you've got that product?
Yes, and it is kind of strange. I have sleep apnea, so I use it. I'm not only the hair club president, I'm a user.
That's important.
And it was strange for the first time that I put a mask on, because my whole life I've gone to bed without putting anything on your face. And the next thing, you feel claustrophobic, but you have to muscle through it. And when I got through a really good night's sleep, I felt so energized the next day, got my life back, and it just really helped. So I know how much it helps people. And it's a growing concern. This business is, since 1989, has just exploded. There's so many people going through the airports when I travel. People have sleep apnea, their devices going through the checkout, not through security, and it's everywhere. Yeah.
Tom, you've got just a tremendous legacy of small business platforms in the Seacoast. You never stop. You're a man in motion. How did your other business platforms evolve into the opportunity and that vision for you to create this company that you have now, SleepNet?
Yeah, it's a good question, Phil. I guess I tell everybody I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm doing just what I did as a child. I had a paper route, shoveled snow, raked leaves, mowed lawns, you know the drill. We're in a very wealthy family, and that's how I bought my baseball gloves and my hockey skates. So with the sleep apnea company, what really happened came from the real estate. A guy had a product. I was going to rent him some space, and the next day needed some help, some business help. I liked the product, and one of the partners was in the sleep business, and one thing led to another, and next thing you know, 3 months later, they've got me running the company. It's a crazy story, but that's how it happened.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And in terms of your product line, in terms of exposure to people that want to find out about it and where your product lines will be going and what's going on in the future for new developments.
Yeah. We are on the web, sleepnetmask.com. We sell in 50 countries for a small company. Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We ship a lot to Europe, so it's good for our trade imbalance for the country, if you will. It's kind of surprising. This little company in Hampton ships all over the world. We have a lot of regulations, FDA, ISO, we have audits. It's crazy how much money I have to spend on doing that. We're continually developing products. We are cutting edge. We do a lot of really good things as a small company. The big companies don't have the passion that we do. I've got really good engineers and a good staff for quality. And it's really set the stage to having a great company that's small. And we've always had trouble growing. We really have good ideas and good engineering, but the struggle has been sales, and that's where the focus is now. And we've segued out of the sleep business and have a safety product now called Envo Mask that's going to be, I think, a really revolutionary product that'll help people in the construction business.
Lots of innovation, I can tell you that. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these community messages. Welcome back. We are sitting here with our guest, Tom Moulton from SleepNet. And I have to say, Tom, I was lucky and fortunate enough to be able to go into your facility the other day, and I have to say, I'm very impressed with what you've got there. Walking in, it's just super clean. There's so many great products, awards, and then you walk into the back. The facility is just filled with process, machines, equipment. Tell me about that and how you go through your process.
Well, thanks, Laurie. Yeah, no, it was a nice visit. Thanks for coming over. I grew up in a machine shop. When I was a kid, my father had a facility where we built things. So I'm very process driven. You cannot inspect quality into your product. So we have a very robust quality system in our company. The processes, the tooling, and the fixtures are all designed so you get repeatability. You get the same thing over and over again. And when you're dealing with a health product, if you're going to be buying something for your health, you want to make sure you're getting the same thing over and over again. And it's a pretty impressive process that we have. Our quality system is as robust as $1 billion company. Costs a lot of money and a lot of effort and time.
No question. And I know I couldn't help but see that there were manual features to that, but I know from a future innovation, you're looking to go with complete process without that manual piece.
Yeah, I think you're always going to need employees to handle things, but in order to be able to adapt to hopefully our growth, we're going to look into automation. And with automation, it gets a little bit more complicated and expensive, but you can keep the costs so it's affordable and save money and still give them a good product.
Excellent. So I know that sleep apnea typically is an adult issue. I also noticed that there were children's masks hanging as well. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we use a lot of children have respiratory issues, and we have a product line called Mini-Me, kind of from the Austin Powers theme, which I think everybody gets a kick out of it if you can believe that. At least it's name recognition. We are very focused on the pediatric. I have a soft spot for children, and not many people want to focus in that area because there's not a lot of money in it because of the volume. But that was not what I was doing it for. So we have a really good line. We just improved the products to 4 different sizes. And, children, if you go in the hospital, the last thing you want to see is have a child have their face marked up with sores. And this is where the gel really helps eliminate that. And a lot of the pediatric doctors really like our product. So that's a niche that we can own.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Tom, at SleepNet, your product, the End State, actually changes people's lives. And through that sleep deprivation, you have a cure for that. And your website speaks to that. Your users do. Share with those quality change of life issues that your product
Yeah, I would encourage people, if they're having trouble sleeping, if your spouse or significant other finds that you're not sleeping, you're choking in the middle of the night, you got to go to a doctor and get it checked. Because your the oxygen blood saturation goes down. It can cause a stroke, heart attack. Reggie White from the Green Bay Packers died from sleep apnea on New Year's Day because he had sleep apnea and wasn't treating it. So it's definitely a serious health issue. Toxins in the blood come out when you're not breathing. It's like someone's choking you all night long. I've heard stories where a guy has gone to the hospital because his leg's bothering him. What's happening, his wife is kicking him, and his leg's sore because he's not breathing at night. True story. I have a planet, there's a lot of them. But there's no question, Phil, that the quality of life enhances everything, your whole being. And stop and think about it. When you don't get sleep, child or an adult, you're cranky. And instead of people are falling asleep in the 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you find yourself dozing off, probably an indication you might have sleep apnea.
And you're taking people off, in some cases perhaps, or share with us about no drugs, the pharmaceutical aspect of it.
Absolutely, Phil. You don't, hypertension, some of the other diseases people are getting treated for. It's kind of funny, once you start treating the sleep apnea, some of these all other symptoms go away. Health issues that you may have, I've seen that. Someone one time thought they had to get a pacemaker over in Manchester, I think it was at CMC, and when they diagnosed the sleep apnea, it went away.
Amazing.
So there's a lot of other ailments that are related to it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but notice, but I noticed that you have a mask in your hands.
Yes. This is
Small.
this is our latest product. It's called EnvoMask, and it's a dust mask to replace the white dust mask that the other companies make, 3M, Honeywell, whatever. And we've used the gel to create a really good seal. It can go on and off really quickly and easily, and we think we're going to revolutionize this industry. This product will probably overshadow anything I've done in my life. That's the hopes anyway, and it's going to help people when they're working in a harsh environment. Pretty excited about this one.
Wow, that's very cool. And I can tell just by seeing this gel, it's pretty, it looks really light.
Yeah.
You can tell that it wasn't going to mark up your face like you would see in normal masks.
Yeah, but some of the people who have tested it in the field love it. They can't believe how cool it is, so it's good.
Excellent. And Tom, we know that, obviously you're very involved with the community. I know you've got other things going on as well, and I'd love to hear all about it.
Well, it's true. I probably have a lot of things going on with me. But one of the most exciting things I've been working on lately, back in 2002, one of my best friends, Rick Middleton, who played for the Bruins, they just retired his number, I think if you remember that last year, around this time. Him and I coached in the Paralympics. We coached the U.S. sled hockey team. He asked me in the parking lot of the Hampton post office if I wanted to be his assistant coach. I said yes, certainly.
How do you say no to that?
I know, great to be involved in that. So we went to Salt Lake. We were last of all the 6 teams listed, and we won a gold medal. We won every game and beat Norway in a shootout. So about 3 years ago, I was talking with Rick and said, before we die, Rick, we've got to really get the story down so people, memorialize it. So I had a friend of mine in Rye, Bruce Valley, was going to write the book for me, and we have 110 hours of original footage from a documentary team that followed us around. And I said, after the book's read, maybe I'll go to ESPN, we'll do a 30 for 30 movie. Fast forward, a year, fast forward, after that, a friend of Rick's heard about the story. Rick hadn't even told him. After 5 years, he knew the guy, and told him about it. He has a group in California that are filmmakers, and they want to make a full-length feature movie out of it. So we have a script done. We're looking for funding now, and the exciting part is it's going to be a great story to be told. How this has enhanced children's lives that are in wheelchairs, veterans that come home that have lost their legs, that and find something for them to do. If you see how this sport has changed people's lives, it's incredible. And I'll end with this because I don't want to take too much time, but I didn't realize that we were like the spark that lit the fuse. The United States has won 4 gold medals and a bronze since we started. And we were like I said, the spark that lit the fuse that started sled hockey in the United States, which I'm very proud of. Never realized it. I went over to Exeter 3 years ago when it really hit me. They have a sled hockey tournament over there, and I walked in, and the place was covered with grandparents, parents, wheelchairs, sleds, and I became overwhelmed. I went over to show the kids my gold medal, if they asked me to, and when I got done, I realized I met a man from Vermont. Here's the man from Vermont going out with his child and playing sled hockey. And someone in a wheelchair can't always go out and play catch with their father or football or throw a baseball around, but here, this child in a wheelchair can go out and feel the wind in his face, hit people, feel alive. If you saw, I came out of there with tears in my eyes, I was so happy. That never would have happened if this sport didn't take off. So it's a really feel good and
amazing,
a good story.
Yeah.
Tom Moulton, we really appreciate you taking some time out to see us. This
Thank
has
you.
been great. We are going to take another short break, and we're going to come back live here with Joe Manzi and another special guest. We'll be right back.
Thanks, guys. Yes, we are here on Route 1, right at the Route 1 tractor sales lot between Gus's Bike Shop and Say Cheese. And we are here with the Basset family, Steve Basset. We're going to talk about a long-time tradition here in Northampton, and that is Christmas trees. Thanks for being here, and talk a little bit about how this whole thing started in your family operation.
Well, in 1976, I saw that the Christmas tree farms in Northampton were going out of business, so I set up down the road and bought 300 Christmas trees, and that was the start of something big.
And then from there, other family members have gotten involved, and you've been here pretty much every year since then.
Yeah, my nephew Johnny's been important. He's here today, and as a matter of fact, I have to go sell a tree, but he can step in and talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
How you doing? Quick segue into John. And John, we were just talking a little bit about the family operation. Talk about where the trees originate from and how they get here to Northampton in time for the season.
Well, they actually come from the northern border of our state, right on the Canadian border near the Connecticut River, West Stewartstown, New Hampshire. And we've been getting them from the same farm for about 35 years as he has. I've only been doing it for about 17, but yeah.
So what is a typical season like? What are your days like here each day, and how does everything get divided up amongst you?
Well, you start as early as possible. He's here way earlier than I am, granted, usually it's about say an 8 to 8 job, but someone's got to be here almost all the time, just to keep an eye on things and make sure everything's running smoothly.
Yeah, and coming by over the season, you can definitely see the supply starting to dwindle as we're down to next week being Christmas as we shoot this. How of a season has it been, and how many trees do you typically go through?
It's been right on par with the course for most of our years in the past. I'd say we're probably down to about 50. We start with just under 800. So.
And I imagine for you being a tradition here in town, you see a lot of the same families that come back each year and see the kids grow and with the trees.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny. I've been doing this since I was about 11. I'm 28 now. So there's been families I've seen, their kids are driving now, that I remember seeing them when they were, babies. So yeah. It's a pretty unique experience, and you really get to know the community in the Seacoast area. Yeah,
so people come down here, they pick out a tree, you help them get it right in the car, they take off from there, and then what are some good taking care of your tree tips you'd like to pass along to people?
Most of them are wives' tales, but if you just cut the bottom fresh and keep water in it and make sure to not let it run out, then the tree will usually last right through Christmas.
Now, you came into this, obviously that had been established. Is this something that you consider yourself sort of, and the family as well, sort of an outdoor nature tree kind of thing, or is this just a specific thing for the Christmas season?
I'm a very outdoorsy person. I do a lot of hiking, snowboarding, and all kinds of outdoor activities, so definitely can thank my grandfather and my uncle and my own father for giving me that sort of push in that direction.
It's great to see. It's something that traditions nowadays, things change so rapidly. It's great to see. So we want to wish you all the best for the rest of the holiday season. Merry Christmas, great luck with the trees. Everybody knows where to come right down here on Route 1, and with that we're going to send it back to you guys. Thank you very much.
We'd like to thank our guest, Mike Oliveira from Donut Love, and Tommy Moulton from SleepNet.
And Joe Manzi, who was on location with the Basset family. So for the entire TV 22 crew,
I'm Laurie Caruso.
and I'm Phil Bean.
We'll see you on the next Laurie and Bean.